History of my oldest ancestors of whom I am very proud descend. July 1st, 1180, she is murdered by her husband, Dona Estefania Alonso the Unfortunate, Infanta of León and Castile, Lady of the Infanta de León, my 26th and 29th grandmother, great-niece of Dona Teresa de León and Count Dom Enrique, parents of Dom Afonso Henriquez, 1st King of Portugal and 10th grandmother of Pedro Álvares Cabral, discoverer of Brazil. Dona Estefania Alonso the Unfortunate, Infanta of León and Castile, Lady of the Infanta de León, was born in 1148 and was murdered by her husband on July 1, 1180. She was the daughter of Afonso VII, the Emperor, King of León and Castella, and Dona Urraca Fernández de Castro, paternal granddaughter of Dom Raimundo, Count of Burgundy, and Dona Urraca, Queen of Castile, and maternal granddaughter of Dom Fernando Gosia de Hita, Count of Hita, and Dona Estefania de Urgel. Dona Estefania Alonso, also known as Stephanie, the Unfortunate, Estefania la Destachada, was the illegitimate daughter of Afonso VII of León and Castile and Dona Urraca Fernández de Castro, widow of Count Rodrigo Martinez. She was murdered by her husband Dom Fernando Rodriguez de Castro, which earned her the nickname the Unfortunate One. Birth. Dona Estefania Alonso's date of birth must have occurred in 1148, the year in which Afonso VII granted privileges in favor of Dona Urraca Fernández de Castro and her daughter. On her paternal side, she was the granddaughter of Dom Raimundo, Count of Burgundy, and Queen Dona Urraca de León, while on her maternal side were her grandparents, Dom Fernando Gosia de Hita, Count and Lord of Hita and Uceda, and Dona Estefania de Urgel, daughter of Armengol V, Count of Urgel, and Countess Maria Perez, Lady of Valladolid. She was half-sister of King Sancho III of Castile and Ferdinand II of León, as well as the queen consort of Pamplona Urraca la Asturiana, who married King Gosia Ramirez of Pamplona. His mother first married Count Rodrigo Martinez, who died in 1138 while participating in the siege of Coria. Then there was Afonso VII, Dona Estefania Alonso. And in 1157 Dona Estefania Alonso's father, King Afonso VII, died while returning from a battle, being succeeded on the throne of Castile by his son Sancho III, and on the throne of León by his son Fernando II. The wedding. The exact date on which Dona Estefania Alonso married her first cousin, Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro, my 26th and 29th grandfather, is unknown. Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro, her husband, was the son of Dom Rodrigo Fernández de Castro, the Bald, and Dona Eulalia Alvarez. Everything indicates that the marriage agreement must have been influenced by the bride's mother, who was also Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro's aunt. Dona Estefania Alonso married Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro, head of the House of Castro, governor of Cuellar, Duenas, Valladolid, Toro, and Asturias at different times. He had divorced his first wife, Constanza Osorio, daughter of Count Osorio Martinez, the latter killed in the Battle of Lobrigal. Although her husband was a native of Castile, hence his nickname the Castilian, in the Kingdom of Castile he was nicknamed the Lion. He left the Kingdom of Castile with his brothers and reached the post of mayor of Dona Estefania's half-brother, Ferdinand II, King of León, who granted him the hand of his sister. In 1170, Fernando II de León granted him possession of the Infanta de León. Death. On July 1, 1180, Dona Estefania Alonso was murdered by her husband Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro, who, according to some sources, while others left no record of the event, presumes that his wife had been unfaithful to him and had been murdered. When Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro found out he was being cheated on, he entered his wife's quarters and stabbed her to death. But when Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro recognized that it was a mistake, he asked his brother-in-law, King Fernando II, for forgiveness. The king did not punish his brother-in-law for the murder. Dona Estefania Alonso was buried in the Basilica of San Isidoro de León, leaving 2 young children. According to tradition, the drama took place at Trujillo Castle, residence of Dona Estefania Alonso and Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro. On the night of July 1, 1180, one of the maids wore Dona Estefania's clothes to go out with a lover. But Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro got up from the bed and saw the lovers in action. Believing that Dona Estefania was cheating on him with another man, he stabbed the man to death. Then he chased the woman, who ran to take refuge in Dona Estefania's room. When Dom Fernando entered the room, He found Dona Estefania sleeping naked, stabbing the unfortunate woman to death. Then, several servants came to the rescue and Dom Fernando realized that Dona Estefania could not have had time to take off her dress. When they searched the room, they found the maid hiding under the bed, wearing Dona Estefania's dress. Dom Fernando realized that it was a mistake and who he had seen was the maid and that his wife was innocent. Destroyed, Dom Fernando put a rope around his neck and went to King Fernando with the dagger with which he had killed his wife, willing to accept the punishment he imposed on her. King Ferdinand II refused to punish him. Furthermore, the king decided to honor Dona Estefania with the privilege of having her buried in the royal pantheon, together with her grandmother, Dona Urraca, Queen of Castile. The following epitaph was written on his tombstone. Hr Infantissa Dom Ina Estefania, Filia Imperatoris Adefonsi, Conjux Ferdinandi Roderici Potentissimi Barones, Mater Petri Ferdinandi Costelloni, Quae obiit era mux vi. Cal. July. Here lies Infanta Estefania, daughter of Emperor Afonso, wife of the powerful Baron Fernando Rodriguez. Inspired by this story, in 1604, Lope de Vega wrote the play La Desdichada Estefania. There is no trace of this story in Trujillo, despite it being the most likely setting for it. That's why Dona Estefania Alonso went down in history with the nickname The Unfortunate One. Offspring. From the marriage between Dona Estefania Alonso and Dom Fernan Ruiz de Castro, my 26th and 29th grandfather, the following were born. Dom Pedro Fernandez de Castro, my 25th and 28th grandfather, the Castilian, married Dona Maria Sanchez de Leo, then married Dona Jimena Gomez de Manzanado. Dona Teresa Fernandez de Castro, married to Dom Osorio Martinez, 2nd Lord of Villalobos.